Who are Sikhs? What is Sikhism? Sikhs are from Punjab, northern India, and are neither Hindus nor Muslims. Sikhs believe in one God and that all people were created equal. The Sikh faith was founded 500 years ago. Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, taught a message of love. The Sikh religion is strictly monotheistic, which means one God, common to all mankind, not limited to any religion, nation, race, color, or gender. Guru Nanak is a messenger of God, spreading the word of God and proper way to love your life.
The Sikhs' place of worship are called Gurdwaras, and this is where people of all faiths and those who do not believe in God are welcome. There are two parts to a Gurdwara, the Langar Hall and the Darbal Hall. The Langar Hall is where people can get a free vegetarian meal, and the Darbal Hall is where the Ragis recite verses from the Guru Granth Sahib. Out of all the many Gurdwaras in the United States and in Punjab, the most known is Harmandir Sahib. The Golden Temple has a very high importance to the Sikhs, but during the attacks of October 1984, it turned a peaceful worship place into a battlefield.
So 1984 was a deciding factor for the Sikhs in that it was the first time that any faith group had been attacked in their place of worship.
It all began when the government started rationing food. That is when the Sikhs started to demand for equal rights and that everyone would be treated equally. India's government disregarded the Sikhs' demand for an independent state and proclaimed that these demands as acts of terrorism. Sikhs were losing their voice to speak, so they started protesting peacefully about the harsh uprising of Indira Gandhi and other leaders at the time. At the head of these protests was Jaranil Singh Bhindranwale, a Sikh priest at the time of these peaceful protests. Bhindranwale was born on June 2, 1947 in the district of Faridabad. As a child, Bhindranwale's teachers noticed he stood out from the others in his age group when it came to the study of the Sikh faith. Bhindranwale did not tolerate anyone insulting the Sikh religion because it meant so deeply to him. Many years later, the Indian government was insulting the Sikh religion, trying to take away their freedoms and their voice. Jaranil Singh Ji became the voice of the Sikhs, trying to protect his faith for the future generations to come. Jaranil Singh Ji began giving speeches in front of many people to give words of hope. The Indian government noticed this large movement of Sikhs Jaranil Singh Ji had put together. The Indian government used Sikhs as propaganda, stating that Sikhs were the enemies of Hindus and that Hindus in Punjab were in danger. The Indian government noticed that Bhindranwale was gaining many people from his speeches across Punjab.
Military generals turned down the order to attack the Harmandir Sahib until she finally found a general who said, okay, I'll do it.
That is when she had another general by the name of Lieutenant General Kuldip Singh Brar put in his place to execute the attack on Golden Temple to remove Sikh extremists that were a part of Bhindranwale's movement. The attack, codenamed Operation Blue Star's ultimate goal for the Indian government was to kill Bhindranwale and his forces that were held up. The government started firing on Golden Temple, not knowing Bhindranwale was fortified somewhere else, ready to fight back. Bhindranwale and the remainder of his men survived for 3 days, fighting the constant waves of gunfire between rebel fighters and the army. That is when the army sent in tanks to finish off the rebel fighters, then ultimately killing and ending the life of Jaranil Singh Bhindranwale. In the days following the attacks of '84, media was finally allowed to report the harmful events. When word spread across the world, riots broke loose in Sikh communities due to the backlash of the attacks. Bhindranwale played a big role to the Sikh community during '84. After his death, many wanted to continue his legacy and spread the word of this harmful event to the world. On October 31st, 1984, a carefully planned out assassination was put together by the remaining Akali Dal fighters to end the terror of Indira Gandhi. Even though the Akali Dal fighters successfully assassinated Indira Gandhi, the Sikh communities didn't feel fulfilled because the Indian government was still trying to cover up the events of 1984. Still to this day, most of the world has no idea that these events took place, and most of the info you find on the internet is mostly false, stating that Bhindranwale was a terrorist, but in the Sikh communities, he was known as a saint.